Hi, everybody, and welcome into this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter from Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aidan Champion. Getting back into hoops talk today. We've been doing a lot of basketball talk, football talk. We're going to transition, though, over to Michigan State men's basketball. It's always a fun topic, uh, you know, especially considering the season they came off this year and just the new additions with the transfer portal. And now, um, you're once again, you're in kind of an interesting situation where no one really knows what to expect for this season. Everyone's got their expectations. And so I want to get into that today. What would you all consider to be a successful season for Michigan State hoops this year? Because you're coming off an Elite Eight, you're losing your top three scorers. Meanwhile, the Big Ten all around you has gotten better. Teams that were, towards the top last year that were on Michigan State's heels all got better. Michigan, Purdue, UCLA, Illinois. And so now I mean, you're looking at this and saying, geez, I mean, how does Michigan State compete when it loses its top three scores? And I've said before, I mean, it was the same question last year, but this is different, okay? Because I mean, just by how much better all these teams around them got, it's going to be tough, and it's not that realistic to anticipate going back to back conference champs. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think they'll be right up there still. I think there's a good chance of that. Absolutely. You're getting, Cohen Carr back, Jeremy Fears back, Jackson Kohler back. That's three starters, but I mean, I know Cohen was coming off the bench, but he was as impactful as just about any other starter on the team last year. You're returning Carson Cooper, who, you know, I I'm thinking if you're going to go with a traditional lineup, he'll be your starting center, of course. I'd be shocked if he wasn't. And then, around them, they've got three solid transfers. I liked, who Izzo was able to get in the portal. I know there's a lot of people who would have liked to go for the bigger names, but I don't think you necessarily needed to. I mean, you didn't need to last year. Frankie Fiddler, yeah, he was considered one of the better transfers out there. But remember, again, and I keep saying this, it's my favorite thing to point out is that Michigan State won the Big Ten without a first or second team Big Ten honoree. And I just love that it goes to show that the names don't matter. The star power doesn't matter. It's a collective unit. I think that's going to be their strength again this season. Strength in numbers, depth. There's no glaring area of need. You addressed all those with the portal. You've got Cam Ward coming in, who I'm very excited to see. And so to answer the question, what would be a successful season? Well, what I see as being successful is it's a tough question to answer. It really is when there's just so much unknown. But you finish top four, top five in the Big Ten. If they finish top five, I'll give them I'll give them credit for that. But I'm as far as like a tournament run, I still think, any Tom Izzo team is capable of making a deep tournament run. Okay, he's taken a 7 seed to a Final Four. So I mean, you're gonna go through the battle of the Big Ten, and you may not end up, right there at the end. Um, but that, it doesn't matter come tournament time. So, um, a second round Sweet 16 exit, no, I wouldn't view that as successful. I still think you gotta be held to a high standard. Um, and based on this roster, you got three guys, um, who were major, really four. Um, Four guys who are major contributors on an Elite Eight team coming back. Um, it's not like you're completely rebuilding, starting fresh. Um, you've got a solid group of experienced guys who made a deep tournament run, who were part of a Big Ten title team that won the conference by 3 games in what was a very tough Big Ten. So, I think they've got the tools, the returning tools to be to have a solid foundation there, where there's, you know, an expectation there where you've got guys who now understand what it takes to reach that point. So I still think you should be held, to a high standard as far as tournament standards. But in terms of, uh, Big Ten standings and whatnot, I'm not expecting them to go back to back. Um, there's I do anticipate there being some moments that we've been used to seeing in years prior before this past season, where you're really questioning this team and you're questioning um, how they'll fare in postseason play. There was really only one point this past season where there were true doubts, and obviously that was the West Coast trip, and then 2 games after coming back from that when they were stunned by Indiana at home. I think that stretch was really as rocky as it got. They bounced back from that, and from then on, they played their best basketball of the season. But I think you're going to get more of those stretches next year. It's going to be a lot of what we've gotten used to over the years with Michigan State basketball, where you'll be on top of the world one weekend, and the next weekend it's you know sound the panic alarms, and um, I think there will be um, tougher stretches next year, especially with the schedule. Um, but I think they'll be battle tested, um, and they'll be well equipped come tournament time. So that's why I'm calling another successful season. Top five finish in the Big Ten, and despite that, another deep tournament run, probably beyond Sweet 16. And um, I'm still holding this team to a high standard, just maybe not as high um as others. I think it's two very different seasons, regular season and tournament time. Tournament time, it's what matters. Okay. Tom Izzo, it's got plenty of Big Ten banners, but this team is this program needs more titles, needs more national titles, and you know, that becomes more and more um, of a need as Tom nears, you know, the end of his tenure, whenever that may be. But um, Would love to know your guys' thoughts. What is a successful season for Michigan State men's basketball um, next season? Um, you can you can let us know in the comments here. You can let us know on our social media pages, where you can also keep up with all of our content um, from Michigan State Spartans on SI, where we're giving you tons of daily content to keep you guys busy, to keep ourselves busy. And we love doing it. We hope you guys love reading it and engaging. With all that said, thank you once again for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.